Okay, this is going to be a short video, really quickly to demonstrate the performance in this S60R Volvo that I have. It's my daily commuter. As you can notice, I have the system in advanced mode, which is firming up the shocks, changing the shift points of the transmission. You know, you can see this car has some miles, 158,000 miles on it, and I haven't been driving it hard, so the performance may not be right there initially because I haven't punched the pedal a couple times, but let's put it to you. I mean, it can get moving. Again, this is that was totally legal. It was a 55 mile per hour area right there coming off a turn, but you know, this thing has a K24 turbo that pushes almost 15 pounds of boost, or exactly 15 pounds of boost through it, stock. And all I have is some that was a little turbo lag there. Sorry, I can't manually shift it myself. It has, and see how it's holding the gear there for you and the engine timing, so you can speed it up some. And it will do it. It will go. But this particular motor, and I'm just out here on the back country road here, came up to a car in front of us there. It's about 300 horsepower, 295 foot-pound torque. This is a geartronic version. This is from 2005, so it does have the torque limiter on it for first and second gear, which holds it to, I believe, 258 foot-pound torque in those two gears before unlocking, and then basically giving you the whole 295. You know, there is an ECU update that you can do to it for about $700, where you send the ECU off, or you know, they'll ship one to you that removes the torque lock. I haven't done that yet because I'm not ready to replace the transmission, just in case that doesn't work. A lot of guys, there's been no reported transmission failures, but I don't know how many people really have close to 160,000 miles on their Volvo S60R. Again, this car for the bargain is just a really great buy. It's been very reliable. It's very easy to work on. I did the timing belt myself on this car. You know, you just remove the passenger side wheel because it's a transversely mounted engine. Once you remove the wheel, there's an access point where you can work on it, and then, you know, you just see your timing areas, you put a new belt on. I mean, besides that, you know, besides changing the oil and the occasional ignition coil, you know, replacement or something like that, or spark plugs, there's just nothing you have to do to this car. It's a great car. And I love driving it. It is exceptionally fun. The active chassis settings are really awesome. They give you a firmer ride. I'm gonna pull out right here and just give you just an idea of just how this thing moves. And that's, again, this is another 60 mile per hour area. It moves. It really goes. I mean, and the engine's very lively. It doesn't have the best engine note, being an inline 5. It's very coarse sounding, but I'm okay with that. You know, it just is something that performs well. I know I'm stuttering here and there. I'm driving home, you know, day in Michigan. Just decided, why not take a video real quick of what this X60R is, because it's like a hidden gem. Most people think of Volvo, they think of safety, they think of reliability, Scandinavian luxury, very simple. I mean, this thing has these blue gauges here, which I love to death, with the red accented needles. The seats are just, I mean, they're amazing. Leather all in the door. I mean, and you know, I picked this car up over a couple of years ago for like $8,800, with, you know, I think at 100,000 miles directly at. So I've driven it to Virginia and back. It's a very comfortable car. The back seats are a little small, and you know, so I wouldn't recommend, you know, having, if you're planning on hauling your family around, having, you know, 3 kids in the back seat at all, by any means. God, no. But that is what it is. I'm fixing this airbag light that you see here. It's because I installed this aftermarket Parrot system into the vehicle, and I removed the the stereo, and I forgot to unhook the battery, which tripped that off, so I'm going to get that turned off. But my regular OB connector doesn't clear that particular code for that. But you know, nice steering wheel mounted controls. Everything has held up really well. This is an 11-year-old car that I use as a daily driver, all-wheel drive. You know, for the winters, for the snow. The all-wheel drive is front-wheel drive bias, so it'll start with about 90% up front, 10 in the back, and then it changes under acceleration and under slippage. That is, you know, it works pretty good in practice of snow. Sometimes it can see a little late. It's not like a Subaru exactly, but this thing will. I personally think I've, you know, seen some vehicles in action, and I don't want to admit anything in particular, but it will hold its own. It really, really will. I mean, and I think that this interior is way better than any Subaru that you get into, which has all the hard plastics and you know, very, very different approach. This is, you know, can't tell you how many workmates, family members, friends have gotten my car and said that these are the most comfortable seats they ever felt in a vehicle. And so, you know, a lot of people decide to go with, they want to get the manual. I would have loved to get the manual if I could have found it at the deal. When I was looking at the time, I just needed the car, and it so happened that this showed up. But, you know, this is a car that really, really does it. It really does. I mean, and let's see, we're getting on the interstate here. Let's apply a little power. Okay, that'll get you in trouble. And it's holding the gear, and it will drop it eventually because, again, I'm in advanced mode, and I'm going to get over one. I'm going to let this guy, I'm going to be nice because I'm not a BMW guy. It really holds its own. The best year, I think, is probably 2007, because you had the transmission that didn't have the torque lock on there, where it limited the torque. They changed the transmission up to a 6-speed on transmission. This is a 5, and it works better. 06 had some issues, reliability issues, with the first year it switched over. Or, you know, of course, you just go with the manual, and you got I mean, the first one I ever drove was a manual, and it just went. And this car is very, very quick also. But again, I don't think people really understand that you can get one of these now for like $7 grand, you know, $8,000, and you're getting a lot. You know, you're working at about 3,600, a little bit under, a shade under 3,600 pounds, 300 horsepower, 295 foot-pound torque. You don't have the reliability issues at all of some cars that do have those things. And I mean, and the chassis settings are really awesome. It has a lot of yaw control things, and it's fully disabled. You know, you can disable all that with the DTSC button right there. You press it once, it retards it, so it makes the car more rear wheel drive biased, or it you know, it lets you swing out the butt a little bit more, have a little bit more fun. You can totally deactivate the system by pressing the button 5 times in succession, and when you do that, it basically turns off all the systems, the yaw control included. I really don't like that setting as much, because this car, the way it's set up very interestingly. You know, the transversely mounted engine is mounted over the front wheels. It has some really weird, non-traditional sports car, like, you know, setup. So you do that, and you lose all your electronics that help to make this car more. And that's what this car is for. It has all these electronics, and then it's just constantly kind of spinning its tires. It's out of its way. I think Jeremy Clarkson in 2003 did a review on Top Gear of the car. He turned off all the settings, and you know, he said all the car did was spin its tires and wasn't very athletic at all. And that was exactly true, because this car needs the electronics that it has set up in it. I mean, it's got huge, like 13-inch Brembo brakes stock that come on this car. And we're talking about for $7 grand. We're not talking about a Saab 9.3, you know, Aereo or Vector, or, you know, something that's still front-wheel drive bias and doesn't have all the upgrades to suspension. But you know, this is a real car. Is it an M3? No, it's not an M3. But you're not paying M3 money. You don't have M3 maintenance either. You don't have M3 parts. So I just wanted to record this video for you guys to see that this is an option. You know, these cars, you don't find them as often. People see the R, you get a lot of respect. You get people that will come up and, you know, try to get at you a little bit because you know, the manual version, if you get the chip or you get the ECU update to this version, you know, you're looking at a 5.3, 5.4, 0 to 60, you know, under sub 14 quarter, I think at 13.8, which is a good place to start off with. It's a really excellent place to start off with. So, you know, guys, I keep telling you I'm going to get a head cam. I got to get some cameras. I know. I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I'm just off focus a little bit, but you know, this is a quick video on, you know, I know I have my Porsche and I'm working on it. She's in the garage right now. I don't bring her out on bad days, even though she's an old bird and, you know, basically being restored, so she wasn't in the best condition in the first place. But this is definitely a viable option that you can look at and you know, see if you want to make this. I mean, for $7 grand you can make this your daily driver, and then you can have the real car you want. I guarantee you, in over 2 years of ownership of this car, it's never put me down. I've done some preventative things to it, but the costs are very low. I buy stuff off of Pelican Parts. There's nothing really crazy expensive on the car. The most expensive thing that I thought was relatively dumb for the price was if you go to AutoZone and you want a bulb, because these have the HID lights, they're $100 per bulb. I went on eBay and I bought a set of ones from Japan, which I did my research on. I paid $13 for the pair, and they've lasted me over 1.5 years, and my systems and everything are totally fine. So it's a strong vehicle. Just want to record this for you guys. Let me know what you think. You know, maybe I should set up a GoFundMe account for a head cam. I don't know. I'm just joking around. I should get one of these days. That should be a focal point. But again, you know, this is a very, I mean, just a very taut. I mean, look at that. That was like 60 to 80 and nothing, or maybe 70 to 80. I wasn't paying that much attention, so don't get me later. But it's a very taut vehicle. I mean, it's a very, in the brakes, if you're moving and you got to put them on there, they're very good. They do not fade. They do not fade at all at 12.9 inches of Brembo, nearly 13-inch disc brake. So just a video for you guys. Hope you like it. Let me know. Bye.